Testing 1, 2, 3, Wolfpack. That it is at that. That's not right. All right. We looking okay. We're good. Hey, people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. This is the DNC Convention edition. And, so what we typically do, if you're new to this show, is after every debate, I would do a post-op of the debates. No matter how late they went, I always did that. And the same thing holds true with the DNC Convention. At least I try to. And there's going to be no guarantees, man, because it was hard sitting through this entire convention, day one, okay? Trying to tell you, from bell to bell. So, and I know a lot of you out there are listening from home or wherever you may be. Some of you may be at work, actually, this time of night or this time in the morning. I'm going to do shout-outs at the end of the show, not beginning, because I think we need to get to it. It's very late, and I just, need to do that. But I want to at least make sure that people can hear me on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope. So let's jump out real quick on YouTube and see. We got Sign of the Times. Thank you, Sign of the Times, for moderating. Jilly Love, Javier, Anthony, thank you. Can you guys hear? The playoffs have started. All right. Looks like we're sounding good. Thank you, Brad Bloom. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for doing double time, double duty, my brother. And let me jump over to Facebook. Facebook, you guys good? Rahul, I see you moderating over here. Thank you, Rahul. I know it's a tough job, my friend. Do the best you can. Dolores, Johnson, I'm almost asleep. Jason, thank you. All right. So we got volume on both of those two platforms. Periscope guys. What we can do is we can share this to Twitter. See, that's the thing with Periscope. It's no real easy way to check that for me. I'm just going to say live now. And if you guys can do what I'm doing, which is share the show on your social, live now, come over. Come over here. Get over here. That's Scorpion, Mortal Kombat reference. All right, guys. So, all right, so here we go, guys. Now, look, first of all, I want you to know, if you're not a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack, you should become a member because I work hard for you guys. All right? I sat through a convention, day one. I know a lot of you didn't sit through it. Yeah, I know you had better things to do, like clip your toenails or something. I know. There's no way you're going to subject yourself to this. A couple people were like, Tim, man, don't waste your time watching that, man. It's the game, the NBA playoffs. I'm like, brother, this is my job. I'm fortunate to have whatever this is we call this. What is this I'm doing? I don't know. I'm fortunate to have it, right? And my viewers need to know what happened. And so they don't have to sit here for 4 hours. I have to do it. So anyway. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. If you want to make a one-time donation, it's better to do that on GoFundMe. But if you want to become a member, go patreon.com and Tim's Take Live or Facebook or YouTube. They all take a cut. But it is what it is. Starting at only $5, guys. So how can we jump into this convention? First of all, folks, I was underwhelmed. Very much underwhelmed by the entire thing. First of all, it's a very daunting task to try to make a convention that's usually boring in person, like with people there, not quite as boring virtually. Now, it wasn't that there were a lot of glitches. I think they did a good job as far as, keeping things moving along. But there was weirdness in this format. Yeah, some stuff you could tell was pre-recorded. Some stuff wasn't. Some stuff was just weird, wacky, like creepy even. Like they put in these like clap portions where somebody would be speaking and then they're done, and since there's no audience, you'd have like one person sitting in their house going, oh. Then they jump to another person sitting in their house doing something, like smoking weed or something, and then, and everybody just start clapping like, all right, let's get serious, Tim. Let's get some serious analysis to what just happened here, okay? Let's open the book, okay? Let's open the book. The first thing that kind of led me to believe that this was going to be a rough convention was how it started off. And this is one of the first images that I saw, one of the first guests. Now, they had on Muriel Bowser, which is the mayor of D.C. She was there. She made a couple of comments about, Donald Trump. She made comments about, I should really turn that off. Thank you, Suzanne. Let me turn this off, man. Oh, God, I can't. I need to check and make sure things are notifications. I don't know why I got notifications. Okay, so the convention started off with Muriel Bowser from D.C., one of the most notable things anyway. And she was talking about, Donald Trump's photo op and the tear gassing of protesters and how Donald Trump had the gall to call in the troops basically into Washington, D.C. so he can do a photo op, and how disrespectful that was. And she knew that once he did that he would do it anywhere. And then she talked about renaming, that stretch of road Black Lives Matter Boulevard and really pissing off Donald Trump. And they shot it with where you could see the street that's Black Lives Matter Boulevard. You could see it like, So anyway, it was a nice dig on Donald Trump, set the tone for the night of bash, going upside Donald Trump and up one side, down the other side of Donald Trump. And you got to expect that that's what they're going to do. But here's the thing. Muriel Bowser didn't talk much about what the Democratic platform really consisted of. It was almost like she had no clue what the Democrats are offering other than not more Trump. And that's pretty much the running theme for most of the night. Most of the nights it consisted of Donald Trump bad, Democrats not as bad. That's pretty much it. But since we want to get more detailed, more involved, let's do that. After Muriel Bowser left the stage, the next image that kind of caught my attention was this one. I sent out a tweet about it because it didn't sit right with me at all. This is George Floyd's brother, and I'm not sure. Maybe these are both brothers. They both somewhat resemble him, so I'm not sure. The DNC had George Floyd's brother speak at the convention, but where's the legislation? Real criminal justice change requires policy, not word, and not platitudes. So that was the first thing. And this is par for the course for the Democratic Party and the DNC. You may recall back in 2016, the Democrats have a panache for bringing out black people who have had their loved ones killed by police And just kind of just saying, hey, it's bad when that happens. And we need to do better. And then they change the subject because they really don't want to come up with any type of legislation that would really tackle the issue. A lot of the, police brutality that we saw, and don't get me wrong, George Floyd's brother did a good job listing names, but a lot of the names that he listed happened under Obama. Under a black president, a black attorney general, black House, Democratic House and Senate, and no legislation at all. What does that tell you? George Floyd's brother, with all due respect, what does that tell you, man? Come on now, we both from somewhere other than a silver spoon. George Floyd, roughly the same age as I am. What was he, 40s, late 40s, almost? Right? We from the same time and age of the crack era, the cracking down of the draconian Reagan. Reagan had wet dreams about only wet dreamed about what Joe Biden and Bill Clinton were able to pull off. And we know that what we've seen with mass incarceration, they ain't just started under no damn Trump. That's been going on several years. So it just bothers me. They do this all the time, and it's a great effect. And once again, to prove my point, you know who they had? They had the mother of Aragona. And she did a great job. Don't get me wrong. She did an excellent job of asking Joe Biden. This is when Joe Biden appeared on screen. She asked Joe Biden, what was he going to do? He asked her, what do you think we should do, Mrs. Carr? And she said, we need to make changes. We need to make changes so this doesn't keep happening. And they, we talked about George Floyd can't breathe, and neither could Aragona. And you know what? It's going to continue to happen. And the Democrats are going to continue to talk about it. And they're going to continue to point at Republicans. And it's going to continue to exist. Because it's really nice to run on something that, run on an issue, but not have to actually change the issue and still get the vote. Because people are that afraid of it persisting. So that was disconcerting to say the least. It let me know, though, that there would be no real major change in this convention than most other conventions. So as if that wasn't enough for them, using George Floyd's murder, using Aragona's murder as a backdrop to start the night off, then comes everyone's favorite representative, majority whip, or minority whip, majority whip, Mr. Whip himself, Representative James Clyburn.
Good evening. I'm Congressman Jim Clyburn here in historic Charleston, South Carolina. 6 months ago, I stood not far from here and endorsed Joe Biden to be our 46th president. It was a decision I made with my feet firmly planted in this community. That's why I stand with Joe, and why he will always be an adopted son of South Carolina. Joe Biden is as good a man as he is a leader. I have said before and wish to reiterate tonight, we know Joe, but more importantly, Joe knows us.
And I know that you are full of it, and I know that the Democratic Party is like a broken record. This is so condescending. It's the pure audacity of Jim Clyburn to not just one time come out with a hollow endorsement based in no facts at all that he feels that he needs to share with anyone, or why Joe Biden is such a leader. What's the leadership ability display? Tell me when he displayed this leadership you keep talking about, Jim. And please explain, sir, dear sir, what is it about him about us that he knows? What the fuck does Joe Biden know that I need to know about? It's just so pompous and arrogant that he could continue. And he could just talk sternly, and all of a sudden, what? People fall in line like robots, zombies even, puppets. See, what I believe is there was a lot of voter suppression in South Carolina. That is what truly propelled Joe Biden. So white folks, please stop asking me, why did all the black folks listen to Jim Clyburn? I don't think they all listened to Jim Clyburn. I think there was a lot of voter suppression, a lot of polling places closed, and they disenfranchised the vote. That's what I truly believe. I don't think Jim Clyburn is as magical a Negro that he believes he is. Or he would not have to talk like he is about to whip somebody's ass to convince you that Joe Biden is a great leader. Instead, what he would offer you are examples of things that Joe Biden has done to earn that gratitude. See, I have no problem with James Clyburn having an affinity and affection for his friend Joe Biden. No problem at all. What I do have is your inability to explain in a fruitful way, a productive way, in a rational, real, tangible way why he deserves our vote. You can like him all you want, Representative James Clyburn. Tell me why he should become the President of the United States. And don't mention the name Trump. I want to know why Joe Biden should become president. And I would also like to know why no one holds James Clyburn responsible or accountable for the sheep herding bullshit that he does. It's horrible. It's horrific. It's shameful, disgusting, and condescending. And that's what Joe Biden reminds me of more than what you're describing, Mr. Clyburn. But you can just dismiss me. Dismiss me because I'm not of the kiss butt class of blacks, of so-called Negroes who fawn at your feet, look for photo ops and job opportunities. Some of us are cut from a different cloth. And with all due respect, that cloth that you had, maybe you had it at one time, it is absent now, and you are of the ilk that lead the sheep to slaughter. Have a reason for your admiration or cease bloviating about Joe Biden. But he endorsed him again with no facts, no reason, no rationale. So I said, okay, this is the kind of night it's going to be. I get it. It's going to be a night where I'm going to be highly pissed off. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, DNC. Thank you, Clyburn. And from there it went. Next up was Gretchen Whitmer, Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan.
Good evening. I'm Congressman Jim Clyburn here in
Now, this is what I sent out about Gretchen Whitmer. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer sounded just as empty and unbelievable as any other middle-of-the-road, milquetoast Democratic politician. It's a shame. Whitmer supports legalizing cannabis and at least $15 minimum wage, but you wouldn't know that from her speech. Not good. And that's because it's not good. Listen, I had to look up what Gretchen Whitmer was about because I had to come up with a reason why people even give a damn about this lady. Then I noticed she does have some policies she does support some policies that are substantive, that are progressive, that would actually help people's lives. But it's like she's auditioning to become another stoolie for the DNC as opposed to being a record changer, a game maker, you know, a real trendsetter, a real dynamic force. So she's right where she could be, like making these decisions about what's important. And all I want to say is, Gretchen Whitmer, we got enough also-rans. We got enough of those who fall in line and just do what they think they need to do to get ahead. Amy Klobuchars, we got enough of those. What we need, Kirsten Gillibrand, we got enough of those. Okay? So you show promise, but then when you get up and you speak and you sound plastic and you look like a deer in headlights, I don't know what's going on. All I know is I'm not impressed. And if the only thing that you have to hang your hat on is that Donald Trump called you that lady in Michigan, well, let me just say I don't think that's enough. Not enough to be interesting and not enough to propel us forward or for you to be a true leader. But enough to get a chance to speak. Next up, who was it? I forget who's next. Oh, I know who. Amy Klobuchar. Now go ahead and thank me because I don't have a clip of her speaking. I wouldn't subject you to that, at least not this time. Senator Klobuchar starts his speech by making a joke at Trump's expense. The joke wasn't bad, but you got to sell it, Amy. You know, sell it. Like you sold your soul during the primaries. Here's the thing, guys, about Amy Klobuchar. She's an empty suit. It's a small, petite size, but it's still an empty suit. And she believes that she is so hilarious. And I'm always wondering who told her that she was hilarious. Someone's been telling Amy Klobuchar that she's viable, interesting, and a trendsetter. She is not. But I've come to the conclusion that it's Bill Maher on HBO who's done this. Yeah, he was the one who rescued her campaign, brought her on, played her up as if she was somehow going to be an actual nominee or the nominee. Amy Klobuchar doesn't possess the skills to be a leader, in my opinion. I see nothing. I see nothing that would suggest that. Now, what she is someone who has a good command of the issues to a certain degree, but then when she gets lost in the weeds, she really gets lost in the weeds. I mean, the road's here. She's in the bushes. She's on the beach. She's driving on the beach without her tires deflated. I mean, she comes out with these one-liners to hit Donald Trump, and that's about all she ever has. And then she has the audacity once again, guys, and yes, she did it. Once again, she goes back and she brings up the snow. When she launched her campaign and she had snow in her hair, who told Amy Klobuchar we gave a damn about snow? Someone's telling her that that's your shining moment. Amy Klobuchar, Senator Amy Klobuchar, with all due respect, if the only thing that you have to hang your hat on is that time you were talking and some snow came down, quit. Quit. Take up playing the accordion or something, or become a late-night talk show host. Take, I don't know, take a seat at The View. That's what you do. You become a member of The View. They need some new blood. All right. You can take Sonny's job. Sonny was a cop. You're a cop. You're perfect. Or were a cop. Prosecutors. Both you prosecutors. It's a lot of prosecutors. All right. Next up. So, not to be outdone, because we need a representation of different across the aisle, just to show how horrible Donald Trump is. Now, this was impressive in a way because this person, is a Republican. So when you got a Republican going at the DNC convention in order to take long dumps on President Donald Trump, well, that says something that's kind of notable. Or is it? Or is it just a sign that John Kasich, yes, former governor of Ohio, Kasich, is just a guy looking for a job, a guy looking for an opportunity, a guy seizing an opportunity and saying, you know what, I don't like Trump much, and this is an opportunity for me to make inroads and maybe set myself up for 2024. We all know he has aspirations of becoming president, and if he can make enough inroads with Democrats, that'll put him further or closer to the ring. But these people, man, these people are horrific. They let John Kasich speak, and then they shut down others. I mean, there are actual people in the Democratic Party who wanted to speak, who weren't given an opportunity, but they make room for John Kasich. Why? Because the DNC is all about attracting as many Republican voters as possible. Forget the progressives, forget the actual true left of the DNC or people with the left ideology, socialists, Democratic socialists, anybody on the left at all. People who just believe in universal health care, minimum wage, livable wage, environmental justice, criminal justice reform, legalizing cannabis. Forget those people. Let's go to the right. Well, slightly right, one half step to the right, because that's really where they are. And let's get John Kasich, because he's the type of people we need. And it's such a slap in the face. Now, most of John Kasich, what he said, wasn't really worth remembering at all. Most of it was hot air. Most of it, you could have went to sleep and you wouldn't have missed a damn thing. But there was one part of it that rang super true, and here it is. If you watch nothing else about John Kasich's speech at the DNC convention of day one, this is the part you need to listen to.
I've known Joe Biden for 30 years. I know his story of profound grief that has so deeply affected his character. I know Joe is a good man, a man of faith, a unifier, someone who understands the hopes and dreams of the common man and the common woman, a man who can help us to see the humanity in each other. He knows that the path to a restored and rejuvenated America lies in respect and unity and a common purpose for everyone. Yes, there are areas where Joe and I absolutely disagree, but that's okay, because that's America. Because whatever our differences, we respect one another as human beings, each of us searching for justice and for purpose. We can all see what's going on in our country today and all the questions that are facing us, and no one person or party has all the answers. But what we do know is that we can do better than what we've been seeing today, for sure. And I know that Joe Biden, with his experience and his wisdom and his decency, can bring us together to help us find that better way. I'm sure there are Republicans and independents who couldn't imagine crossing over to support a Democrat. They fear Joe may turn sharp left and leave them behind. I don't believe that, because I know the measure of the man. It's reasonable, faithful, respectful. And you know, no one pushes Joe around.
So I just want to make sure you got the point here, what he said, okay? Because I think this is a perfect example of the reason why Joe Biden is having such a hard time attracting voters who have, you know, their sights set on more than just removing Donald Trump, but actually having a viable presidency. And they might have different reasons for not supporting Joe Biden, okay? And here it is. John Kasich clearly stated that if you have the independents and Republicans should not fear voting for Joe Biden because Joe Biden isn't going to make a sharp turn left. Nah, you can count on that. He's reasonable. He's not going to move to the left. He knows better. It's not who he is. It's not what he believes. He can't be pushed around. And there's basically no one or any someones who can influence him to move to the left. That right there, to me, shuts down the convention, sir. Yeah, it shuts it down for a lot of the progressive voters out there. It's very crystal. It's very clear. The one Republican that they bring on, well, former governor with any weight, there were others. It was like they did a little segment where they had a number of Republicans. I didn't recognize any of them, but I think they were just regular people who voted Republican and voted for Trump, all denouncing Donald Trump. And you notice, even Kasich didn't say much bad about Trump. He just said, hey, rather go with Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden's a better Republican than Donald Trump, I guess. Yeah. Tells you a lot. Tells you an awful lot. Well, Kasich could be the high point of the night as far as if you were a truth seeker just trying to figure it out. But there's a little bit more to the race, a little bit more to the convention that I think might need to be shared here. Gosh.
I've known Joe Biden for 30 years.
Guys, I'll tell you, I'm moving so fast on this, so efficiently that I'm thinking I'm missing stuff, but I'm not. It's just I guess I cut a lot of the fat off, you know? So the night came down to these last two speakers. Two speakers that have considerable weight, notoriety. One would be the senator from Vermont and the former front runner for the Democratic nomination in 2020, none other than Bernie Sanders. The other would be former First Lady Michelle Obama. You know, it was very painful to watch Bernie Sanders give a speech for Joe Biden. Yeah, I mean, hey, more than just a gag reflex, man. I'm telling you, I truly gagged. It was awful. You know, Bernie made the case. I mean, he did the best selling that he could do about Joe Biden, and most of it consisted of how horrible he thought Donald Trump was. And I know that's not going to sit well with a lot of you folks. A lot of the Tim Black Wolfpack, they do not want to hear that. I agree. I don't want to hear that either. I want to hear what Joe Biden's going to do for us. But there is a certain amount of concern I have about what Trump would do if he stays in office. So I'm kind of torn with that, but here's the thing. Bernie Sanders did something that no one else did tonight. He talked about some things that Joe Biden has proposed that he will do. Yeah, no one talks about the things that Joe Biden will do. I think it's strategic. See, the less they talk about the stuff that Joe Biden says he'll do, the less Joe Biden will have to be answering for those things in the future when he refuses to do them. Well, here goes Bernie Sanders explaining why Bernie Sanders supporters should consider Joe Biden, not just consider him, vote for him. Here we go.
Together, we must build a nation that is more equitable, more compassionate, and more inclusive. I know that Joe Biden will begin that fight on day one. Let me offer you just a few examples of how Joe will move us forward. Joe supports raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. This will give 40 million workers a pay raise and push the wage scale up for everyone else. Joe will also make it easier for workers to join unions, create 12 weeks of paid family leave, fund universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, and make child care affordable for millions of families. Joe will rebuild our crumbling infrastructure and fight the threat of climate change by transitioning us to 100% clean electricity over the next 15 years. These initiatives will create millions of good-paying jobs all across our country. As you know, we are the only industrialized nation not to guarantee health care for all people. While Joe and I disagree on the best path to get universal coverage, he has a plan that will greatly expand health care and cut the cost of prescription drugs. Further, he will lower the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 down to 60. To help reform our broken criminal justice system, Joe will end private prisons and detention centers, cash bail, and the school-to-prison pipeline. And to heal the soul of our nation, Joe Biden will end the hate and division Trump has created. He will stop the demonization of immigrants, the coddling of white nationalists, the racist dog whistling, the religious bigotry, and the ugly attacks on women. My friends, I say to you, to everyone who supported other candidates in the primary, and to those who may have voted for Donald Trump in the last election, the future of our democracy is at stake. The future of our economy is at stake. The future of our planet is at stake. We must come together, defeat Donald Trump, and elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as our next president and vice president.
So, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders lays out some reasons why Joe Biden would be better. Not just in attitude, and maybe he's not willing to use race to that extent in order to win elections, as Trump is willing to do. But he does mention some things that I did not know about Joe Biden. $15 minimum wage, union support. I don't know what union support means. 12 weeks leave. That sounds good for families. I know that's needed. Universal pre-K. That's great. Climate change, 100% clean electricity in 15 years. Millions of jobs created due to that. He says, of course, obviously, Joe Biden doesn't agree with universal health care, but his health care proposal will lower the cost of prescription drugs and reduce the age qualification of Medicare from 65 to 60. And then he says, well, Joe Biden will end private prisons. He will end the cash bail system. and he will end the school-to-prison pipeline. Then he goes on to list things that a Joe Biden presidency will mean to the country. Less bigots running around with a battery pack on full. Less audacity, less audacious bigots running around feeling like they got Donald Trump support in their bigotry and their outspokenness, using the N-word in the middle of the street, thinking that nothing will happen. Treating immigrants like dog shit with no repercussions because, Donald Trump says. So, like, those things, okay, I get it. And I'm not going to dismiss those things as not mattering. They do matter. Once again, to me, they matter. Okay, they matter that it matters that we have a president that encourages, supports. He never condemns asshole racists and bigots. It just kind of changes the subject whenever it's brought up. Here's the thing, and this is from someone who supported Bernie Sanders 2 times in a row, who still supports the principles of that was laid out in the campaign. Still down. Here's the thing, Bernie Sanders. Do you really believe that Joe Biden will actually fight for any of those policies you just listed? Or do you believe, as I do, that more than likely, the moment he hits office, he'll come up with every excuse possible to omit and say he tried but couldn't get it done? Similar to what Obama did, even when he had the ability to get it done. I mean, we're back to where we were, and you know exactly what it's like. You know what it is. You were here with Hillary. You said the same things about Hillary. Hell, Hillary was offering us a reduction of age for qualification for Medicare better than Biden. She was offering 55. But the problem was, and the same problem holds true now with Biden, does anyone believe that Joe Biden is going to stick up for us? He showed no examples of this being what his true ideology is. I've never heard Joe Biden talk about $15 minimum wage. Never once hear him say, we got to fight to get more pay for people. I heard him talk about the soul of America, but never about putting some insoles in your shoes and making sure you got money to do that. Never once. Heard him talk about people listening to the record player. Maybe your kids listen to the record player, but never talked about increasing the living situations for people of color or black people, because I think he was talking about black people, wasn't he? So that they would be able to buy a, stereo system. So, like, I want to believe it. Maybe, here's the thing. I believe that Bernie Sanders believes this. Okay, I believe that Bernie Sanders believes that Joe Biden can be a better president than Donald Trump. That is a very low bar, not one that excites people. And if you're going to win an election, this polarizing, even though you got John Kasich coming out for Biden, but if you plan to win, you're going to need excitement, and it's going to be difficult with a Joe Biden, because I don't think people believe Joe Biden's going to do these things. Luckily for the Democratic Party, most Americans don't care because they think Trump is that bad, so maybe it won't matter. But if we really want these policies, it would be helpful if Joe Biden actually really wanted those policies, don't you think? Well, I felt that Bernie believed his speech, and he gave a speech that seemed like it was from the heart. And then there came the best performance of the night. Yeah, the best performance. And I'm not going to say that Michelle Obama, former First Lady, truly believes what she says, but I believe she wants you to believe that she believes what she says. I mean, like a whole lot. And I saw a lot of people commenting about how eloquent Michelle Obama spoke, about how real, how moving, how compelling the cases that she made were. Michelle Obama's speech was seemingly passionate. She talked a lot about black people in this struggle. And all the time she was talking, all I kept thinking was, hey, you were just in the office. You were just there at the seat of power. Why don't you just look over at your husband and say, hey, change this shit? Or no, boom, boom. or fix this or just do it, Barack? Where was the passion? Where was the deliberate, like, where was the urgency when you were in power, when you were the first lady? Instead, what we get from Michelle Obama is the actual gall. And I'm going to say, like, you're not going to hear this anywhere else, okay? No one else is going to say this. Join that wolf pack, because I'm going to tell you something. Michelle Obama is very damaging for black people. People want to respect her. People want to love her because they want to respect black women. And they know that black women have carried the brunt, not only of the Democratic Party, of black existence, man. You know, while we was in the field, so were our women. Demoralized, dehumanized. So they want to respect Michelle Obama, and she makes that possible, man. Beautiful kids. In fact, hey, I believe if it wasn't for Michelle Obama, there never would have been a Barack Obama black president. I think she is what won black people over, not Barack. I mean, Barack was raised by white folks. You know anything about black experience other than he had brown skin. I mean, Michelle was the one truly from Chicago. Barack is from Hawaii. So it really was Michelle who was president, or the reason for the presidency. And that's why she's so dangerous. Even in this speech, as much as I'm complaining, I still, even though I'm keeping it real and realer than most, I gotta walk a little gingerly because I'm not here to bash her. I'm just saying, how dare you, Michelle Obama, make statements like, no, who's gonna listen to me? I'm just a black woman talking. You were the first lady of arguably the most powerful nation in the history of nations. And you say, who's going to listen to me? I'm just a black woman. You actually say that? It just doesn't ring true. It doesn't make sense. No one comments on it. I'm pretty sure there'll be no one, but maybe Breitbart types. Maybe the Blaze will talk about it, but there'll be no one from corporate media, from CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS talking about that audacity to make that statement. But I'm going to let that go because we got more to talk about, because I have a clip of Michelle Obama. I'll play a very little bit of it because there's something more that I want to point out to you.
Together, we must build a nation.
This is not the time to withhold our votes in protest or play games with candidates who have no chance of winning. We have got to vote like we did in 2008 and 2012. We've got to show up with the same level of passion and hope for Joe Biden. In person, if we can, we've got to...
Yeah. She said we can't play around with this three-party stuff or voting for people that can't win. I think that was an aside at Kanye West. They never liked Kanye, and they're shutting that Kanye's crap down, and I get that. But it just felt like voter shaming. And that's pretty much on par. Maybe she was the one who wrote that stuff for Obama. Always condescending to black people. Always condescending to the viewer, always condescending to the voters about what the voters need to do. Never once was Michelle Obama or even Barack Obama put the Democratic Party responsible for turnout, for enthusiasm, for ethics, for reliability, for standing up for everything is about the party. Everything is about what the Democrats need to do, what the people need to do for the Democratic Party, how they need to help Barack, that's how they need to help Joe Biden. What happened to what they're going to do for us? I'd like to know what retailer, what producer of any good in the world, any service or any product, who gets to walk around saying, you need to buy this because you need to buy this because you need to make sure this company's good to go. No, it doesn't work in any other way would it ever work. It wouldn't be laughed out of business. You go into foreclosure or bankruptcy, And everyone would laugh at you. You'd be the laughing stock of your industry. If your biggest selling point is you need to buy our stuff because if you don't, you're not a good citizen. It just sounds weird and wacky and upside down. And what kind of a first lady are you? Now, I could go further. I could talk about how somehow the Obamas come into the White House with a hat in hand and they leave owning the hat store. Or how they come in with a hat in hand with hardly any money in the bank and they leave out with more money than the Clintons. In only a couple short years, you somehow amassed the wealth knocking on the door of Nancy Pelosi. I'd like to know how that happened. But I know you're going to give me some speech about how we shouldn't judge people by how much money they have. Easy to say when you have it all. Michelle Obama's gifted. She's a better politician, I believe, than her husband would be. I mean, I actually believe her. And like I say, I believe that she believes that she wants me to believe this shit. I could almost let it slide. I could almost let it go if she showed any backbone in holding Democrats responsible for the fact we got Trump. But never once would she admit, even hint, that it's the Democrats' fault that we're where we are. They'll talk about the deaths of COVID-19 and how Donald Trump did a horrible job. She won't talk about who held the office before Trump and how somehow people were so pissed off we ended up with Trump. And yes, I know we got a lot of bigots who wanted to vote. I understand that. Who wanted to vote and get something back. But, you guys put up Hillary. Never once. And I could just tell, I know Michelle is honest enough to admit Hillary was a horrible candidate, and that's how we ended up where we are. But you're a part of that apparatus that will put up and risk everything on a horrible candidate like Hillary Clinton. Meanwhile, kneecapping Bernie Sanders, and you have to know in your heart of hearts, Michelle Obama, that Bernie Sanders is much better for the country than Hillary Clinton was. He's much better for the country than Joe Biden. But you don't give a damn enough to get out of line to say it or to fight for it. So with all due respect, you and your platitude after platitude, your grandiose speak about the children and what the children are seeing and how we need to stand up for them, and you all of a sudden reaching into the bag of blackness, talking about bigots and people, Karens, and people calling the cops and all this crap. This has been going on forever, even under your watch. And you don't really talk about how Joe Biden's going to solve any of these problems. You just talk about the problems and how horrible they are, as if they appeared in a puff of smoke because the orange man walked in. The truth is that Donald Trump is not the solution to the problem, but neither is Joe Biden. The solution is us galvanizing and waking up that both of these parties are basically one party. We need to wake up and realize that we need to get mobilized, organize, register, educate. I think that's what Reverend Barber's M-O-R-E, more acronym stands for. They ain't gonna just give it to us. And the one thing I learned watching 3.5 hours, whatever it was at this convention that I'll never get to have back in my life, that's gone forever, never to return, is that I'm not excited about Joe Biden. It doesn't look like anybody else is either. He hasn't given anybody a reason to be. And all they got for us is he ain't Trump. That's true. I don't know if that's going to be enough, Johnson. All right. I'm Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Tim Black and Night on Instagram. Holla back. Now we're going to jump through the old super chat, see if people left comments. You're welcome, Wolfpack. It wasn't easy. It just looked easy, but it wasn't. I tell you, boy, I want to cut that off. All right, so we got Jenny Nix for the Mortal Kombat reference. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, get over here. Cheryl Mack, thank you, Cheryl Mack. Debbie Howard, thanks for suffering for us. It's appreciated. Thank you. Appreciate you appreciating it. Michelle A., thank you for coming. becoming a member of the Wolfpack. I appreciate you. Owen Johnson. Gretchen has the next Senate state rep in my district to thank for her seat. Sri Thanader, millionaire animal abuser. Goodness gracious, millionaire animal abuser. Goodness gracious. Spent $10 million spoiling the progressive candidate's chances and just spent a $500,000 to represent me. Oh, okay. Interesting. GDMPS, our lives depend on it because Barry's bosses, the dark overlords, will release their worst virus. Oh, come on, man. All right. Kara, thank you for always keeping it real. Utmost respect. I appreciate it, Kara. I appreciate it. You know what it is. Roger Meadows. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna. Roger Meadows says to answer your Clyburn question. I made a question about what does Joe know about us. Okay, there's a lot you can learn about U.S. citizens with the NSA on your side. Gee, thanks, Obama. I forgot I asked that. What did he? Yeah, but it's a real question, Roger. Like, what is Clyburn referring to other than that pharmaceutical money that he takes all the time? I want you to know. Nah, man, calm down. Just, bring it down a notch and just talk to us and tell us why Joe Biden. What has he demonstrated to you? And don't say he's a nice guy, he's a good guy, he lost his wife. Yeah, that's horrible, I lost my dad, okay? I lost countless friends. What does that have to do with him? How does that erase his record of being a segregationist lap dancer, a bigot, a condescending and arrogant jackass? He was a condescending, arrogant jackass in the Senate. Go back and watch the tape. Go back and watch the damn tape. What is in his voting record? Iraq War, 3 strikes, architect. What's great? Criminal justice. I mean, what's great about Joe Biden? I want to know. I'm waiting for you to. I'm waiting for anybody, any of these people. At least Bernie doesn't try to tell you he's great. You got a Michelle Obama and you got Clyburn, all singing praises to Joe Biden, but nobody really telling you what it is. Just talking about his pain because his son died, and that's horrible. That's horrific. So sorry for it. But that's not a reason to be president because you lost someone. Trump lost his brother yesterday. So what does that mean? That means he's a better person now because his brother died? Some people get colder and harder and more shut off from the world when they have grief. You do understand this, which would kind of explain why Joe Biden was very quick to throw a lot of black people in jail for a little bit of weed or a little bit of crack. Maybe that's why he did it. It could go the other way. We could look at it the other way. Though I noticed that for some reason, the majority of the Democrats don't look at it the other way. Neither do the commentators for the major cable news networks. But somehow independent media is the enemy. Nah, we're not the enemy. We're the friend of the people. All right, guys. I'm going to go because I could just keep running off. Dude, man. What's up, dude, man? What's up, dude, man? Dude, man, what'd you say, dude, man? Damn, dude. Oh, dude, man says no to everyone in North Dakota. Vote yes on Measure 3 in November. It is to protect mail-in voting and also would make North Dakota voting ranked choice. Oh, that's a big one, ranked choice voting, like in Washington State, correct? All right. I don't know what that's talking about. Okay. All right, guys. GDMPS will refund you your $10. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I can't understand that one. I'm not reading everything that people say. Come on, man. That's horrible. Like, what is this? Tim just fall for the. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. I'm not falling for any. I don't know what you mean. All right. Can't read it. Can't understand it. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. There's another day, another convention. I will try to watch as much as possible. I don't even know who was headlining. I was able to kind of muster through because I knew we were going to get, Michelle Obama, Bernie were going to speak, and I knew that would be interesting to you. I don't know who day 2 is, so I'm going to look and see who day 2 is, who the speakers are. before I commit that I'll do another show like this, because frankly, it's hard to sit through it all. All right, guys, I got number love for you. Remember, this show is brought to you by you. No special interest group in the world would support this show because we call out Republicans and Democrats. We got independents. And don't forget to join the Wolfpack and become a member of the show. And that is it, y'all. I'll see you soon. And, yeah, I think that's it. That's it. That's enough, right? Peace, Johnsons.